Hey, happy almost 4th of July to all of us U.S. citizens, all the people in the U.S. It's almost Independence Day, and that got me thinking a lot about freedom and independence and the freedom lifestyle that people go around saying they want, especially if you're an entrepreneur, entrepreneurship, and how it all ties together, and how do you actually start creating this freedom lifestyle for yourself now, maybe even before you think it's possible for you. So I'm Christine Parma, and I want to talk to you about this tonight, about the freedom lifestyle. And if you don't know who I am, I help heart-centered entrepreneurs to create joyous, fulfilling, meaningful lives they love, and businesses that are aligned with their soul and profitable at the same time, and give them freedom too, and individuals freedom also. And you can find out more about me at christineparma.com. So, what is freedom? When you think about it, a lot of people throw this word around: freedom lifestyle, freedom, I want to be free. But I really think, and you can tell me if you agree, that very few people actually sit down and think about, what does it mean to me to be free? What is my definition of a freedom lifestyle? What is my definition of freedom for myself? Maybe it's freedom for your family or your loved ones. What is that? And, that is really the thing you have to do first if you want to have a freedom lifestyle. Because if you don't know what the end game is for you and what it looks like, how are you ever going to know if you get there, right? I promise you that your definition of freedom and a freedom lifestyle looks different than mine. Now, there may be similarities, things you may want, like travel, time freedom, schedule freedom, that sort of thing, but it's going to be different because you're you and I'm me, and we're all unique, and we have our unique likes and dislikes and definitions and beliefs that we're coming from around what freedom is and what is possible for us. So that is really, when I was thinking about what it really takes to create a true sense of freedom in your life, and I was tracking back and back and back to, well, what comes first? It's really this. You have to sit down and define for yourself what freedom is for you. And at the same time you're doing that, you're going to get really clear on your values. If you haven't done that already, if maybe you haven't given that much thought yet, you're going to get really clear on that. And you're also going to, this is a great exercise to help you start envisioning, if you don't hold a really clear vision for yourself yet, or your life and the end game, what the end game is for you. It's a really great way to start creating that vision of what a freedom lifestyle is for you. So I would love to hear what are some of the things that you associate with freedom and a freedom lifestyle. And I'll just go ahead and pop them in the comments, whether you're watching this live or on the replay, and I'll share what some of mine are. So to me, a freedom lifestyle is absolutely freedom of choice. Right? I mean, that's like, I'm one of those people, I'm like, don't tell me what to do. And I like lots of choices. I don't like to feel pigeonholed or tied in or, put in a corner. And you can say, yes, I resonate with that if that resonates with you too. So freedom of choice is huge for me. And it's also one of the values that I stand for just in general for people in life, whether it's, people I'm working with or, charities that I contribute to, that people have choices, in how they can express themselves and how they want to live their lives. So freedom of choice for me, part of that, what ties into that freedom of choice is being able to choose to do work that I'm really passionate about. You might call that work freedom or passion freedom. The ability to decide that you're going to pursue what really lights you up and do it in a way that is in service to others. And that is a freedom. You could call that entrepreneurship freedom also. All these different kinds of freedom. Also, along with, one of the huge reasons that I became an entrepreneur, and I know other entrepreneurs take the leap into entrepreneurship, is schedule freedom. Kind of goes along with the time freedom. It's like you want to be able to make your own schedule. You want to be able to do the things that are most important to you. And a lot of times, if you're a parent, that falls into the category of spending time with your kids, spending time with your spouse, being able to allocate time for self-care. That's also part of the freedom lifestyle. It's like, well, yeah, entrepreneurship has a lot of bumps along the road. So, and, there's certain things you have to deal with that you don't have to deal with if you're an employee, typical employee of a company. And in order for it to be worth it, in the payoff to be worth it, these freedoms are really what you want. It's part of the end game that makes it all worth it for you, I'm assuming, because that's how I feel, and I know a lot of people who feel that way too. So, for example, schedule freedom. You can see I'm a little casual today, which is awesome. That's part of my freedom of choice, what to wear, because I don't have to go into work in a business suit like I used to when I was in financial planning. And also because today is already July 4th, where I live with my family. My husband happens to be off work, thankfully. They give him the holiday here too. And we're going to go play tennis. That's time and schedule freedom for you, for sure, at least in my definition, that you get to spend your time with your loved ones and spend your time how it really lights you up. And that when there's a holiday, you can take some time to, do a live stream and then go and play tennis if that's what you like to do and that's how you want to spend your time. A couple other freedoms that may not be so obvious to you, but I feel like are really important that you should think about when you're thinking about how do I create this freedom lifestyle and what's it really mean to me, is the freedom to be yourself, right? The freedom to be yourself, put yourself first in your life. You're like in a good way. Like put yourself first in the sense of your own self-care, connection with yourself, nurturing that spiritual connection in whatever way that is meaningful to you, that you're taking care of yourself. Because frankly, if you're not taking care of yourself, then you can't show up in the world in a way to take care of other people or make your contribution in the same way and to the same extent and with the same energy that you can as when you're really taking care of yourself. And this has become, really worked its way up the priority ladder for me a lot in the past year. And it's something that I kind of put on the back burner, which I think a lot of people do, whether you have kids or not. But if you have kids, it kind of gets way shoved to the far back burner a lot of times. And what I noticed is that by doing that, I was not showing up as my best self in my work. I was not showing up as my best self as a mom, or a wife, a partner to my husband. And it felt really off. And so it was totally out of alignment. And it, can feel like when you are exercising one freedom, like taking care of yourself, that it's going to restrict another freedom, like the freedom to make money as an entrepreneur, for example. And there is a way to balance them all. Because when you think about it, when you really, really think about it, people think of a freedom lifestyle a lot of the times just from the money aspect, right? They think, oh, once I'm making X amount of dollars per week, or I've got this amount of money even in my retirement account or saved up, then I can go and do the things that I really want to. Or then I can take time off. Then I can take care of myself. Then I can spend more time with my kids. It's an if this happens, then I can do that situation, which is not freedom. That is really not freedom. That is an either or situation. And true freedom is really having both at the same time and figuring out what that magical balance is for you and is right for you as the unique individual that you are. So, once you start getting really clear on what is important to you. And it's not just about the money, right? You realize the freedom is not just about the money. And the money really isn't about the dollars per se for most people. I mean, some people look at it as kind of a competition game, like, oh, how much money can I accumulate? How much money can I make? Not going to get into that, and or make any judgments around that right now. But it's really, for most people, it's what we're really after is what we believe the money can do for us, how we're going to feel with more money because we're able to do, be, or have these things that we want. And most of the time, if you're really honest with yourself, what you're wanting is freedom, right? You're wanting freedom in how you define freedom for yourself, whether it's travel, self-care, freedom, scheduling freedom so you can spend more time with your family, being able to do the work you love, freedom, choice freedom, that it's feeling unrestricted and expansive. So my question to you is, and the really big question is, well, why wait? Especially if you're like an entrepreneur or you're somebody who's, working really hard and saving your money because you think one day I can have these things if I work really hard right now and I spend my time, nose to the grindstone, or I do this job I don't like right now. Why wouldn't you start bringing those elements of freedom that you really want? That's the big payoff for you. That's the fulfillment piece for you and the meaning piece for you. Why wouldn't you bring that into your life right now? And this is, one of those places where I can read minds. You're like, oh, Christine, that's so easy for you to say. It's easier said than done. Oh, I can't do it because of this, this, this. Well, one of the freedom beliefs I also have is freedom from limitation, freedom from limiting beliefs that you're holding and the burdens and the restrictions you've placed on yourself, whether you took them on as a kid or you took them on from other people, or you just think that's the way it is, and it came from society. Because we all pick up our beliefs from others. We come into this world kind of pure and empty of any limiting beliefs or any really beliefs at all, and we form them and pick them up as we grow up and we evolve and go through life. So, freedom from your limiting beliefs and around especially the limiting beliefs about how you think you can or cannot have this lifestyle that you want, or you can or cannot have these things that you want, or you can or cannot be this person you want to be, or have this career that you want, or do the work that you love. Usually what's standing in your way between you and the freedom lifestyle that you want, it's not lack of skills. It's not lack of qualification. It's lack of this definition of what freedom is for you, what it really looks like, and then your beliefs, right? What you believe is possible for you, what you can or cannot have, how you trip yourself up unconsciously with the beliefs that and the patterns that you have running in your mind that show up in your behaviors and the choices that you're making. And if you don't see this connection, please rewind this video and go back and listen to it, because it only makes sense, right? You have your mind's thinking thoughts and speaking words. Your thoughts are determining what choices you make, which determine which things you do or don't do, how you act, how you behave, and that is what is manifested out in the physical world, and that's what gets you the results that you have, in addition to the energetic side of it also. But you're still acting, even if you have, the most aligned energy that you can, and you're like, I'm high vibing, Christine. When that thing, that awesome thing that you want comes into your world, if your belief system doesn't support you actually acting on it or taking advantage of it or seeing the opportunity, then you've kind of put the kibosh on your whole manifestation thing there, right there in whatever that part is, say, of your freedom lifestyle. So, the second step I would say after you've decided what freedom is for you, what it means to you, is to identify what's getting in your way. What are the beliefs that you have that you're aware of? And most of the time we're not aware of a lot of this stuff. And how you can become aware of it is seeing how it's showing up in your outer world. Or you ask people to reflect back to you, because people outside that aren't you have their own different filters, and a lot of times they can see things that you don't see and notice things that you don't notice. And really, look at, okay, where are my beliefs tripping me up? Where are they unsupportive? Where am I acting in ways that aren't supporting my vision of whatever this freedom lifestyle is, that version of the freedom lifestyle that is really meaningful to me? Perfect example of how it shows up in our outer world. Our actions reflect into our outer world, our inner beliefs that aren't in alignment with what we think we want and the vision that we're holding for ourselves, is the way you spend your time. So take, for example, if you're an entrepreneur, or say you're an individual and you want to get fit and healthy, and you're spending time watching television, unless it happens to be an educational show that really nurtures and supports you and your journey towards that freedom lifestyle, having those definitions of what freedom is for you, then it's a waste of time, in my opinion. All you have to do is turn on the TV, and there's so much negativity. In addition to that, you're spending your time in a way that's not supporting your lifestyle. Now, we all need downtime, and maybe your downtime is watching television. Totally cool. As long as you're consciously aware of, this is how I'm choosing to spend my downtime, and is it really supporting you? Is it really serving you in the best way? Is that the best way for you to spend, time relaxing? Or would something else actually fulfill you more and support that vision that you have, you stepping into that vision you have for yourself? So, I haven't watched television and, standard TV and gosh, I don't know how long, years, decades, really. The only time I watch TV is to watch a Netflix movie once a month with my husband or something like that. And a lot of times I'll put that off because I want to spend my time reading a great book, or hanging out with friends, or going outside and exercising, or going out dancing, all of these other things that are actually way more important to me than watching a movie on TV. So, there's no judgment from me around how you spend your time, as long as for you, you're spending your time in alignment with what makes you feel good, what you find fulfilling, and what supports the vision that you have for yourself, of whatever that, freedom lifestyle looks like for yourself. So, the other benefit of doing this, and this is a huge benefit, is when you're really, really clear on what freedom means to you, what it looks like for you, what thoughts and behaviors and beingness it takes for you to have this freedom lifestyle, and for you to feel like you're really free, that it makes it really easy to say yes to the things that are supportive of that. And by default, when you say yes, yes, yes to things that are supportive of you and your vision, then you're saying no to the things that aren't. So it makes it really easy to say no. Or you don't even have to overtly say no, you just don't do them anymore. It's not a big deal for me to not watch TV. Just doesn't even mean anything to me anymore. And that's, why I spend my time very consciously doing the things that bring me joy, are fun, are supportive of the vision that I have for myself, that support my learning and growth journey. And I encourage you to do the same. If you're not really consciously thinking about how you're spending your time, start there, because time is the most precious resource you have. So let's see, I wanted to also share, and it also makes it really easy and guilt-free to say no to hanging out with people who really aren't supportive of you. Hi, is it Wakar? Good to see you. And also saying no to those engagements or those things that aren't really meaningful for you. Now, realistically, we all have a thing or two that we don't feel, we're like, oh, I don't really want to do this, but I need to. If you have kids, it may be driving carpool, for example, for your kids to do the different activities. In that case, I would say, well, how can you get to the place of, I'm really cool with this, I'm okay with it, I can make it fun for myself, or at least not a total drag, so that you change and shift the energy around that. So, and maybe there's, a way that you can create more time freedom with regard to that thing that you need to do, so that you're at choice more around it. Maybe, carpool sharing, or it may be like, if you're an entrepreneur, that you delegate the things you really don't like to do to awesome people who, other people who do them really awesomely. That's what I've done. I really do very little in my business that I don't really enjoy or love doing. Like, I really love doing the live streams, and that's why I do them. And on the weeks that I don't do them, I didn't really want to do them. So I chose to not do a live stream on those weeks instead of forcing myself to do them and feeling obligated, for example, and having that energy around, doing a live stream or whatever else it is that I'm doing in my business or my life. So is this making sense? You can drop your questions and your comments below the video, and definitely if you're watching the replay, go ahead and do that. And I just want to wrap it up, and come back to the mindset piece, because this is so critical to creating a freedom lifestyle for yourself, and for you being able to align your behaviors, your actions, your outer world efforts, as well as your energy with what you see as meaningful and fulfilling and part of a freedom lifestyle for you. So I wanted to give y'all a resource for how you can get started with that. I created what I'm calling the Abundance Blocks Assessment, and you guys can take it for free, because one of the big frustrations that I felt in myself, and I've seen also with other people, is they're like, well, that's great, right? All these people talk about clearing out your limiting beliefs and, working on yourself, but like, how the heck do you know what it is you're supposed to be working on? What beliefs are getting in your way? What's sabotaging your abundance of freedom, your abundance of time, calling in an abundance of money and joy and fun and all of these things that typically people associate with a freedom lifestyle? Like, how do you identify what those things are? Because I don't even know where I'm supposed to be starting. If that resonates with you, if you've felt that confusion before, you can say, yep, I've been confused like that before. You can put that in the comments, because I know I have. It can be super, super frustrating to be in the place where you want things to change, but you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to work on or what needs to change in order for my outer world results to change. So I created this Abundance Blocks Assessment that's really identifies what's stopping your abundance. What are the beliefs, the thoughts, the patterns, the behaviors that are getting in your way of having whatever it is that you envision and associate with being free and a freedom lifestyle. So you can get that for free. Just type in the comments abundance, ABUNDANCE. And you know what? I will type that comment. I'm going to put abundance here because I'm using the awesome Be Live platform. I can do that. Look at that. So comment abundance below the video, and I will send you a link with how to get your hands on the Abundance Blocks Assessment so that you can take it for yourself. The assessment part only takes about 10 minutes. And then I include more information and resources and insights into what it all means that I really encourage you to dive into, because it's like, why would you take the assessment otherwise? If you're like, well, what's this all mean? You'll get awareness around what's blocking you just from taking the assessment, but I didn't want to leave you hanging as far as what it all means. So I explained that to you inside the Abundance Blocks Assessment too. So go ahead and type abundance in the comments below, and you can get your hands on that for free. And I would love to hear from you what a freedom lifestyle means to you. What's it look like to you? What's it involve? Is it time freedom, money freedom, financial freedom, schedule freedom, freedom to spend, your days how you want, choice freedom? And what does that grand freedom lifestyle vision look like? What is it? I would love to hear what it is for you. So for me today, the freedom lifestyle looks like going to play tennis with my husband and then going to a 4th of July barbecue later on after I do a smidge of work in between. And I call that freedom. It's really, really awesome. So I encourage you to get clear on what it means to you so that you can bring more of those things into your life right now and start having the freedom lifestyle before meeting any requirements that you think you have to have. And if you want help doing that, then send me a message and we can chat about how I might be able to support you in doing that. So that's all for tonight. I'm Christine Parma. You can find out more about me at christineparma.com, and I will just put that up there real quick if I could type my name. I think I typed it right. Yes, I did. I typed it right. And I would love to hear from you. Love to hear your comments on what you think about the freedom lifestyle and what it is for you and this video in general. And I wish you an abundance of freedom, independence, love, and blessings in your life. And until then, I'll see you soon. Until the next one. Bye.